and see what is going to happen. You know, our passport will be downgraded, our travel documents are going to be questioned, and the credibility of the things we do, including our identification documents, is now in jeopardy. Because if every Tom, Dick, and Harry from across the border is going to have our ID cards and so on, it completely weakens the respect we enjoy, the privileges we could be given by others, and of course the strength of our identification documents. This is why, with utmost humility, we are asking fellow Kenyans that if you needed another reason why this government should be voted out, you have it.
Na mimi kwa hiyo group iko wapi? Hao watu nitawanyorosha asubuhi na mapema. Hao watu ni watu wa breakfast, tutamalizia hapo kwa breakfast. Hawafiki lunch hao.
Tutawanyorosha asubuhi na mapema ndio muende ICU sasa. Wacha hiyo mnavia. Na kura tutajaza. Hii kura hii tutajaza. Usijali, kura itajaa.
Utajaza wapi? Unatoa wapi ya kujaza? Na saa hiyo sisi tuko wapi ukifanya hiyo? Hakuna.
Why we said it was not clear last time is because the law was not followed. We were being given numbers and we said this is where are these numbers coming from. So that is why we are saying IBC as a responsibility. And this time around, because of the pain that the Kenyans have gone through, IBC had better know that if it plays around, it will set this country on fire.
With months to the 2027 general election, the political atmosphere is already heating up, with allegations of electoral manipulation beginning to surface. At the center of the concerns is a troubling possibility that individuals who may have unlawfully obtained Kenyan identity documents could find their way into the electoral system, registering and voting just like any legitimate citizen.
Saa hizi Ruto vile tunaongea amefungua mipaka, anapatia watu kura, anawapatia IDs wageni kutoka taifa la nje, kutoka kule Somalia, kutoka South Sudan, kutoka Uganda, kutoka Tanzania, ili atapate kura ya kuja kutawala Kenya. Huwezi kupatiwa idhini ya kutawala taifa la Kenya na wageni.
These allegations of election rigging have, however, been strongly disputed by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, which has dismissed the claims and maintained that it remains committed to safeguarding the integrity of the process.
This is where the money laundering is done. This is where gold is brought, cleaned, and exported as Kenyan gold. If you check the statistics, for the last 3 years, Kenya has exported a lot of gold. Yet, Kenya has no capacity to mine that kind of quantity of gold anywhere. What comes from Kakamega is very little. That gold that is said to have been exported by Kenya is actually from Sudan.
Months later, many of those questions remain unanswered. Even after committing this heinous act of national security scale, the men and women who should bear responsibility remain in office unmoved. Principal Secretary for Immigration Professor Belio Kipsang has since denied the RSF-related allegations. Immigration Director General Evelyn Cheluget has remained defiant, and so is former PS Professor Julius Bitok, under whose tenure insiders say the foundations of the alleged passport scandals were...
Because can we continue this way? Because how low can we sink as a country? That conspiracy that you saw, that cartel of evil that is selling our documents, that is interfering with our identification documents, all of it driven by the desire to create fictitious numbers and fictitious identities to facilitate voting of even non-Kenyans during the 2027 general elections. It is irresponsible, to say the very least. It is unpatriotic. And we want to address our leaders as responsible people. What they are doing is not just criminal. It's unthinkable when you look at it, that the leaders would do that to their country. I believe this is something that, if I was president, would not happen, and I would deal with a measure of courageous decisiveness that is needed to clean up that nonsense. We had sorted all these things out when I was in Interior. We had gotten to a point of issuing passports in a day. I spent time myself at the Registrar of Births and Deaths here in Upper Hill to clean up the issuance of birth certificates and death certificates. Together with my colleague Joseph Musheru, the then Cabinet Secretary for ICT, we established systems and worked to clean that place up. Now, it's all back business as usual. So it's a trade going on there, very dangerous criminal trade that's unpatriotic to our country, that in the long run is hurting the credibility of our travel document. It's shameful, to say the very least. And I hope that those in the leadership community, our fellow citizens who hold responsibility on this matter, will decently handle this with the seriousness it requires. I could say more and even use a stronger language, but I'm trying to be a little more restrained. Thank you very much.
Kwa miaka 60, leo nimesema hiyo maneno ya vetting iondolewe, ndio vijana wote wa Kenya wapate vitambulisho vile wa Kenya wengine wanapata vitambulisho bila ya matatizo.
Truck drivers from Mogadishu, 178 of them were issued with Kenyan identity cards.
These things ziko na serious security implications. Sio kitu ya kufanya kiolala namna hii. Itafika mahali escort commander wa president mwenyewe atakuwa mgeni, hatakuwa mgeni.
We can't account for the people we have issued IDs in the past few years, and you can take that to the bank. It honestly scares me.
What we are doing with this, in the name of wanting to win a second term of a presidential election, is exposing ourselves to danger, which we don't know when we will ever resolve ourselves out of.
Kenya, a nation of nearly 60 million people. Like every nation, its citizenship rests on a simple. The warning bells have been sounding loud now for months. In February this year, Algoni Hamdan Dagalo Musa, a senior commander in Sudan's Rapid Support Forces RSF, made headlines in Kenya for all the wrong reasons. A man facing US sanctions over alleged involvement in atrocities linked to Sudan's devastating civil war was reportedly traveling internationally using a Kenyan passport number AK1586127. The revelation shocked the nation. Also appearing in the leaked records and linked to a Kenyan passport was controversial Zimbabwean businessman Wicknell Chivayo, a figure at the center of a major graft investigations in Zimbabwe. So how did foreigners with questionable profiles obtain Kenyan identity documents? And if they could, how many others may have quietly slipped through the system undetected?
Ni haki yako ukizaliwa mwananchi wa Kenya upatiwe kitambulisho. Lakini serikali ya Ruto inapatia maharamia vitambulisho. Kama maharamia wajulikana huko nchi ya Sudan, wanapigana huko, wanaharibu nchi yao, wakija huko wanapatiwa passport, wanapatiwa kitambulisho, na watu wetu wenyewe halisi wananyimwa haki yao ya vitambulisho kuwa wananchi wa Kenya.
Applicants. The government defended both decisions as necessary reforms intended to improve efficiency and end discrimination.
Ile ubaguzi ambayo imeendelea Kenya hii kwa miaka 60, ati mtoto wa Mandera, ati mtoto wa Wajia, ama Garissa ama Tana River, ati akienda kutafuta kitambulisho anaulizwa maswali kuzidi ile wamama wanaulizwa huko kwa maternity. Hiyo maneno tumesema itakoma.
But some security experts now argue critical safeguards were removed without equivalent protections being put in place.
Two documents are very critical about the integrity of our country. One is a national identity card. Two is our travel document, the Kenyan passport as a document. When it is handled in this manner, it becomes an issue of national insecurity. It's no longer national security, it's national insecurity. The government is irresponsibly exposing our territorial integrity to danger, all for no reason other than focus on 2027 elections, because someone has made them believe that they can use these foreigners to bridge the gap between the citizen that is unhappy with them. That, in my view, is reckless in the sense that winning the elections of 2027 must not be a life and death issue. William Ruto must appreciate that even Donald Trump was a one-term president, went out, stayed away, came back, but America was safe.
Previously, multiple agencies scrutinized applications before IDs were approved. Now rogue players are capitalizing on the loopholes to make a kill while exposing the country to danger.
You must not sell out this country for your political gains. As a country, Kenya is more important than you as an individual. We must make sure that our borders are safe. Yes, we want to welcome people, we want to welcome other Africans, but that cannot just be done haphazardly. Like any Tom, Dick and Harry just walk in the country, do what they want and leave. You can't do that.